Hey y'all, it's your girl Aprille, and in this episode of I'm So Frank, I'm going to be talking about the 2-week love affair. Should you do it? Should you not do it? Is this a thing? I think it's a thing. Let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna be on top, oh, on top of the world. Gonna be on top, oh.
So, what in the hell is a 2-week love affair? Well, let me tell you. So, as you know, I always start these episodes off with a story, and then I give you some things to consider, to think about, maybe some things you can do in your own life to enhance your own way of being or how you want to feel, how you want to experience the world. So, why would I have a 2-week let's go on this love affair experiment? Well, first of all, let me tell you the backstory. So, the truth of the matter was I was dating and married for a while. And I felt good about myself, but I didn't know that there was shit missing, right? So I didn't know that there were experiences missing that I hadn't had, but I kind of felt like maybe it could have been. So I'm out of the country. I'm in this amazing island that I frequent a lot. I won't say just because, I'm gonna try to keep it as confidential for the other party as possible. And I was there, I was busy, had a lot going on, and I happened to be at a bar. I saw a gentleman, I was having some drinks, and there were people, we were, having a good time. And I thought to myself, he looks kind of good, kind of tall, kind of dark, kind of handsome. So I noticed him noticing me notice him. And at some point we got together and we ended up together at the bar. So mind you, I had people with me. There were, I had a couple friends with me. And so we were chatting. They were noticing me notice him. And so it was good. Now, I said to him, not in that moment did I say that, but he didn't buy me a drink because it was all inclusive. So there is no big drink buying, but he ordered me a drink and we were dancing and talking and chatting it up. And then I said, so are you going to take me to my room now? So we go walking on the grounds, really pretty, beautiful. And I didn't have a plan necessarily. I just knew that he looked distinguished enough and he seemed to have really good energy. Now, so we're walking along. It's really nice. It's probably midnight, right, in said country. And we get to my penthouse and he was like, okay. And I was like, no, you can come in. This might be that. This might be happening. So I get into the penthouse, and actually one of my friends was walking with us, and I excused them. I was like, we got it from here. So I still didn't know what I was gonna do or say, or if we was gonna have sex or any of that. None of that was said. We were just enjoying the dialogue. Obviously there was an attraction on both sides, and he didn't know what state I was in. And what he didn't know was that I was in the midst of transitioning out of a relationship where I felt depleted and I felt like there was just things missing, right? And I had a desire for more, and the relationship I was in, it wasn't fulfilling me in that way. And so anyway, we get inside and we're talking, small talk. We have some wine, music. You can hear the ocean. It was really pretty, right? It was like a whole fucking movie scene. So I say to him, now this is after, some making out and all the things, which don't you miss making out? Like as a grown ass woman, I don't know that we're making out and having tons of foreplay the way that we enjoyed it before we really were like adults, And so anyway, it was really great and passionate. So I say to him, why don't we have a 2-week love affair and then never talk to each other again? He was like, what? Why don't we do what? And I said, yeah. I said, why don't we have a 2-week love affair and then never talk again? Now, the reason why I picked 2 weeks was because I knew I was going to be in said country for at least another 2 weeks. And I was like, why not? Right? I'm here for it. And I wanted to know if he was here for it. So he said, okay. And I said, okay. He was like, well, how does said love affair start? And I was like, I don't know. I never did this before, but it seems like it should be great. And so let me tell you, I felt the most seen with this man that I did not know. I don't even know how I felt so connected to him, but I felt so emotionally connected. I don't even know how, right? And I think a lot of times women, we get lost inside of these relationships that are unfulfilling. While they may be fulfilling in some ways, I think there's a part of us that really requires this other deep sense of attraction and sensuality and beauty and finesse. And I think there's so many women, especially if you're an entrepreneur like me, you're running your own business, or you have, a high-powered career, or you're just kind of in the rat race. It's so easy to put yourself on the back burner and to forget like what it feels like for a man to really adore you, to adore your body, every curve, every bump, every stretch mark, every mole, like all of it. And when I tell you, I felt the most seen by this person. I don't know that I've ever felt as present and connected with a person over this time. So I'm in this country. Now I'm busy as fuck in this country. Okay. There's lots of things going on. But some type of way we made time for each other, and we literally slept together every night for 2 weeks. And let me tell you something. I had more sex during those 2 weeks than I had in like, I can't even tell you how long. Like it was fantastic. So I know you probably want to know, well, how was it fantastic, Aprille? Tell us, since you're so damn frank. Let me tell you, this man, first of all, this man's dick was like the best piece of art on the planet. It was like somebody crafted and molded and said, this is going to be the bar that we're setting for penises. He was gentle and he listened, and we had amazing dialogue. It wasn't just fucking, right? Like all day, every day. While we did do that, there was just so much more, and we had so many things in common. So you might be wondering, why in the hell then would you only want it to be for 2 weeks? And was it only 2 weeks? Did we go longer? Well, you have to keep watching to find out. So I'm in this situation, and I'm like, wow, this feels so amazing. And it literally, I forgot every single iota of worry that I had from this relationship that I was transitioning out of. And when I tell you I needed that, and he didn't know how much I needed it. He didn't ask me any relationship questions. He didn't ask me what my relationship status was. He didn't ask me any of that. I didn't ask him, although I knew he was single. And it just felt really good to be in a space where I just felt beautiful all the time. And it wasn't that I didn't feel beautiful as a woman, my own self, for myself. It was just nice for someone else to be like, you're every fucking thing. Because sometimes we need someone else to be like, girl, you're everything. Woman, you are everything. Like, I love everything about you. And sometimes we want that feeling where you're just fully engulfed in another person's energy, in their space, in their breath, right? And it felt really great. And it was almost like falling in love at first sight, but like for no reason. Like, well, how is this even happening? And honestly, I just feel like we made a decision that this is what it was going to be, and it felt really good, and it felt safe. And I think a lot of times we get disconnected from safety because we're so busy with other things, that we have to take care of. You're running a business, or you got kids, or you got a husband or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever the hell you got going on. And then we lose sight of what's really important. And for me, I really needed that, right? And I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know he was going to be so passionate, but I really truly believe that some kind of way the universe had me run into this man because I hadn't seen him before, right? And I had been to this specific place before, this very specific place for an extended period of time. And I never ran into him. And so I could just tell you, I'm so grateful for that experience. And I think that every woman needs to grab a hold of that love affair experience for herself. So whether you are in a relationship and you're married or you have a boyfriend, sometimes you got to reinvigorate whatever that is. And it's really about you. It's not even about the external relationship. It's really about you reminding you that you are amazing and passionate and beautiful. I think sometimes we get into this mundane routine and it gets fucking boring. And it's so easy to forget all the things that make us us because of just life, right? Of adulting. So let me tell you, I thought it was going to be like, let me just cut this off cold turkey. So what happens after the 2 weeks? So we're having breakfast together and lunch and dinners and walking along the shoreline and all types of fucking Love Jones type shit, right? I'm like, oh my God, did I just meet, like, I done forgot about the other man. I'm like, did I just meet like the next whoever, And I really was present and tried not to get into that futuristic space, which I also think is a trouble zone for women. And so it just felt really good. And at the end of the 2 weeks, I said to him, I was like, this has been really great. And I was like, I'm leaving tomorrow. And I remember our last night together, we shifted around. I was in a penthouse that was 3 bedrooms and we were frolicking in all the rooms. And I just remember having this amazing experience and just this talk. And I was like, just thank you. And the last night we were together, it was the most like angelic evening that I've ever had, that I've still ever had. And I said to him, I was like, so this has been really great. And I'm leaving tomorrow. So basically I ain't gonna see you again. And he said, what? He was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what do you mean? What am I talking about? I said, that was the proposition. The proposition was, let's have a love affair for 2 weeks and then never talk again. And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about? Are you kidding? And in my head, I'm thinking the pussy must have really been great because he's like, fuck that. Are you kidding? Like, why would I let you go after 2 weeks? And so I said to myself, okay, so we could still, kind of have a conversation. But the truth of the matter is he really wasn't there for that. I believe that I ran into him just to restore what I really needed in me so that I can see that it was possible, right? So that feeling again was possible. And I remember the last night together, we were having sex, and I remember, I don't even know why this happened, but when I tell you, I just started sobbing. I don't even know where it came from. And then I started apologizing. He was like, just don't apologize. And I just let it all hang out, come out, all the things, no pun, maybe pun intended. And when I tell you, it was just the best experience. And I am so forever grateful to this man, to this beautiful soul and spirit for giving me something that I didn't even know fully what was missing, right, in my life. And it restored so much in me and really just kind of set off this journey of exploration and sensuality. And I think that's necessary for all of us because I believe sex and sensuality is such a spiritual experience. And I really think that women should be having more of it all the time, safely, of course. So I think, how can you get your own love affair, right? Like, do you need that restored in yourself? Have you forgotten how beautiful you are because you're so busy building funnels or looking for the next career or applying for this next position or running around chasing your kids or taking care of your parents or whatever it is that you're doing? I think it's so necessary. So ask yourself this. Number one, ask yourself, how can you have your own love affair with whatever state you're in right now, whether you're married, single? What does a love affair look like for you? Does that look like you and you reestablishing some love for yourself? Does it look like you having a talk with your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend and saying, listen, why don't for the next 2 weeks we have a love affair? Let's spice things up. Let's remember. Let's go back. Let's invoke something new into this experience. I think that is really important. And I think you need to ask yourself also and be honest, what is it that you really desire? And that was a hard question for me for a long time because I knew the answer to that would have required me to take action that I really wasn't ready to take. And so but you got to ask yourself, and I finally did. And that's when I started really choosing my own happiness and saying yes to the things that I wanted, even if it hurt me to say yes because it was going to be saying no or goodbye or see you later or not now to something else in my life. And I think that's really important and empowering. I think it's necessary. I think it also shows us how we can stand up and show up in other areas of our lives. And I'm telling you, it was the best. I'm still friends with this person. And I ended up having a talk with him. And I said to him, I love this. This has been so amazing. And we're complete. And we're complete because we want two separate things, right? I want something specific, and he was in a different place in his life. And I respect me enough. I respect what I desire enough, which is why it's so important for women to ask and answer that question as honestly as you can. What do you want? And how do you want to feel? So I don't know if a 2-week love affair is in your future, but I think it probably should be. It's Aprille Franks, and this has been this episode of I'm So Frank, and I'll see you in the next one.
On top of the world.